Well, hello everyone. Welcome to World at War Comics. Back for the second time, my good friend, Mr. Bruno Caterino. Bruno, thank you so much for joining me today. You've got another title that's about to launch on Kickstarter, and I cannot wait to get into it. But before we do that, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Yeah, thank you for having me again. Great to talk to you again. But yeah, just working on new stuff and always busy. And yeah, really glad to be talking about another book with you.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, the last time you were on, we were talking about your title, Prey, that was on Kickstarter at the time. Great title. Had a lot of fun with that one. But now we're back with a different title, actually different genre, different everything, and that is Portrait of a Soul. And thank you for sending me an early read. I enjoyed it. Let's talk a little bit about that, if that's okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. So let's get into kind of the story. Where did this story take place in time for you? Like, how long ago did you create this character and this idea for Portrait of a Soul?
Ooh, well, like I guess this is like very common nowadays, which is a lot of stories coming from pandemic,
Yeah.
and this is another one of those where I was during the pandemic. I went back to Portugal, not to try to make the story too long, but I went back to Portugal, where my family is from, and I was there for a while. There, I was making films at the time, and there was a filmmaking course that was short length, fairly cheap, and I thought I'm just gonna do it. And one of the classes was writing, which for me I had been writing for a while. So it was I actually wrote Portrait of a Soul for that class as the final project for that class, and I wrote it as a screenplay, obviously. So kind of like Prey, it's one of those short stories that I wrote as as a screenplay that I adapted to comic books once I started working on comics. And yeah, I wanted to have a more realistic style, which works really well in the art style of Samuel Vargas, who did the art, and it's yeah, I think it worked really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it follows a photographer named Saul, and he finds this woman sitting under a tree. And as you're reading it, right, and then you get to the end, we don't want to give anything away, but what a twist at the end! I was a little surprised myself. So you did a good job of sneaking that in toward the end, but it was a good read, my friend. Great work on that.
That's great to hear. Whenever you write something that is has some, I don't know, twist or some surprises, it's always
Yeah.
hard to to decide when you're giving too much and are people figuring out too early. And so yeah, I'm glad that that balance worked out. So yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So let's talk about Samuel Vargas, who is your artist on this. The art is very unique. So for an everyday comic book reader, when you jump into this, you're probably going to take a step back, going, "Whoa, this is a lot different than most of the type of art that I see in comic books." Can you talk about Samuel's art style and why that style was used for this? I kind of get it now because it is a photographer, and so you kind of want that realistic look to it. But can you kind of walk through that process and how you and Samuel came to this art style?
Yeah, sure. I had worked with him before on a couple of occasions. So I have a sci-fi anthology that I haven't released yet because, anthologies, there's always stories that move faster than others. And he did the art for one of the stories in the anthology. I loved working with him. So I wanted to work with him again. My mom also did a book a while ago. And the cover, she wanted something very specific for the cover that we couldn't find anymore. So we asked Sam to do the art, and it looks, you'll look at it and you say this is a photograph, and it's not. It's just this style is just that good. And yeah, for this, it's like you say, because Saul is a photographer, and it's a lot about uh, the image and that sort of the perfection. It's yeah, it felt like it made sense to have an art style that's very realistic. And because I knew Sam from before, and I know that he's very good with that style, I kind of talked to him, proposed to him, and he was fully on board, even to draw some really weird and realistic images that, if you're ready, you know what I'm talking about.
Very much so, very much so. So what I'd like to do, if it's okay with you, Bruno, I would love to just share the cover and maybe just the first page so people get an idea of what you and I are talking about, because I think we're the only ones that have any idea of what we're trying to portray here. But here is the cover right here, if you could see my screen.
Mhm.
It looks pretty awesome. We'll blow it up a little bit right here. Here is his art, and you can kind of see that realistic look that you and I were just talking about. And obviously, as you start to read this title and you see what Saul's trying to accomplish as a photographer, right? I think you picked the right art style. And you could see that art style, how it kind of throws you off as a regular. If you're reading Marvel or DC, you're not going to see anything like this. It is a very unique style. And I think once you read the story, you really understand why this style is so important, because it does surround a gentleman named Saul, who is a photographer. And we don't want to go too much in the story, give anything away. But yeah, the style really fits the story. So congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I mean, all credit goes to Sam, because yeah,
Yeah.
it really is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know you and I were kind of talking because the unique style that Sam uses. There has been questions around whether AI is being used. So we want to make everybody clear. This is a real artist doing real art. No AI was used. The art style obviously is going to throw off your traditional comic book reader. But by all means, right, this is a real artist doing really, really good art. And you'll see why this technique of the way that he does his art is so important once you read the story.
Yeah, and there's it's been actually kind of yeah, I was a bit thrown away initially when I started kind of promoting the book and sharing images, because the question
Yeah.
kept popping up, and sometimes was a question, sometimes was an accusation. It was always, after a while, you kind of get, I don't know, it gets you a little bit down that you have to defend his style so much when it's just amazing. It's like he's being penalized for being so good, which is really unfair. But yeah, if you go to his Facebook page, for example, you will see videos of him doing the work. So you can see that it's fully him, no
Yeah.
AI. He run a lot of his pages through those programs that check whether images are AI or not, and it says that they're not, with a certainty of over 99%. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's pretty good, and it's pretty clear that it's not AI. It's just that good.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm glad that we kind of covered that because it does kind of throw you off as you're reading it when the art hits you. Not in a bad way. It's beautiful art, but you start to question that art because you're just not used to it in comics. So I'm glad that we cleared that up. Samuel is an amazing artist and he put a lot of work into this. And what you are seeing is that professionalism come across the comic book pages. This is not AIs. Let's jump into the Kickstarter because this title will be starting funding very soon. Do you have a launch date yet, or have you decided yet when you want to start this?
I do. It's going to be the 29th of October.
Excellent.
And
Yeah.
I was actually thinking going a little bit earlier, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it another week, because as we were talking earlier, I've just been in Portugal with my family,
Yeah.
and that's not that. It's great to be with family, but it's not very conductive of doing work to prepare for a Kickstarter. So I didn't do as much work as I should. So that extra week gives me time to prepare, to promote the book. So 29th of October. But right now, you can go to the pre-launch page and follow it. And yeah.
Absolutely. Let's pull up that pre-launch page. That way we make it very easy. for people to take a look. So here is that pre-launch page. I will put the link below, Bruno. Make it very easy for people to go there. And all you do is right here, it'll say click here to be notified when launch. I've already clicked it myself, but we have 15 followers, which is great. We have another week. Let's try and get as many followers as possible to check it out. You can see that beautiful art from Samuel right here. And it does give you a little bit of a snapshot of what you could expect in the book. But I will put this below, and that way everyone can get over there and hit that notify button. That way, once we go live on the 29th, they could jump right back in and make sure that they back.
Thank you. Yeah, go for it. It's if nothing else, you will love Sam's style, and it takes some weird turns that you are not expecting.
Yeah, a lot of fun, man. Those weird turns really it really tied the whole title together, and I really enjoyed those last 3 or 4 pages. I was like, whoa, was not expecting that.
Yeah, and I mean, this is more like an anecdote of, it's not really that relevant for this, but one of the things is that there's been a project that's been in my head for a while, and there's one very specific shot that's more cartoony.
Yeah.
And when I saw Sam doing that shot, I was like, oh, you're the right guy for that other project. So yeah, we'll definitely be working together on a very different project again, and it all comes from this project where he managed to kind of do a couple of different styles, and yeah, it was just perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're living in the UK right now outside of London. Is Samuel close to you, or where is Samuel living?
That's a very good question. I think Bolivia.
Oh,
South
okay. Yeah,
America.
yeah.
South
Amazing.
America
Yeah.
for sure. I believe it's Bolivia. Yes.
Yeah. We're getting so
Um,
many amazing artists from South America. It's incredible in comics. I mean, we're getting spoiled by the art techniques that are coming out of South America, I think.
there's quite a lot. Yeah. If I look at a lot of the people that I work with, tends to be a lot of people from South America, because they really have. I don't know. They have like that unique style. I mean, obviously, Sam is very different, but for example, in Brazil, there's quite a lot of artists that have a very 90s style, which I also love. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's all these styles that are very unique and you don't tend to see in comics anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, with this particular title, Portrait of a Soul, is this something that is going to continue? Do you have an idea of how many issues that follow Saul there will be, or is this going to be like a short arc,
Uh, yeah, this would be a one shot.
a one
I
shot?
mean, like Prey, if people love it and if ideas come up, more
Yeah,
stories in this world can happen.
yeah,
But yeah, it's right now it's meant as a one shot.
yeah.
So
Excellent, excellent. Yeah.
yeah, so you don't have to buy tons of books. You will have a full story with this. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Bruno, this looks awesome, man. I'll make sure I put all the links below. That way we make it very easy for people to follow you. Obviously put the Kickstarter information and all that good stuff. Can you kind of share some of the other things that you're working on? I know you said that you would like to work with Sam again on some other things without going into detail or obviously spoiling anything. Are you working on other projects as well as we speak?
Yeah, of course. So that particular project, I don't want to go too much into detail because
Mhm.
it's a bit of a parody, but it's very again, it's going to have a very unique art style, and
Yeah.
it's in fact it's going to have two different art styles that are going to clash. So we'll have to see how that works. So it's
Excellent.
going to be weird. Other than that, I think after this project, yeah, just finishing up the next project, which would be sci-fi, which I originally wrote for a publisher, and then we didn't really find a way to get that published. I got the rights back, and yeah, ended up getting it
Uh,
done. And yeah, let's see. That one was written originally as a comic, not from a screenplay, so it's going to be something different. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a favorite genre so far? I mean, you kind of write a lot of different types of things. Is there a favorite genre of yours, Bruno?
Yeah, I would say sci-fi works really well for the kind of stories I like to tell, because I mean, if you watched the original Twilight Zone, it's very much like that. I don't know, social commentary through sci-fi or through fantasy. Yeah, I quite like that, and sci-fi gives you a lot of tools to do that. So yeah, that would be a favorite, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's incredible, Bruno, man. I'm really enjoying. I enjoyed Prey. I enjoyed Portrait of a Soul. I cannot wait to read your sci-fi. I'm a big sci-fi fan, so I cannot wait to get my hands on that, man. Anything else going on that we should be telling fans to look out for from Bruno?
I mean, right now, that's the projects I'm working on. I obviously have I mentioned the project that I worked with Sam before, Cinematic Figments, which is going to be an anthology and a larger book.
Yeah,
I'm really excited about that one. There's still some edges but most of the stories are done, and it should come next year as well. So
excellent.
there's quite a lot going on. If you go to my website, you'll see a few projects that are
Yeah.
currently in progress. So yeah, there's a bit of
There's
things
a
coming in the future.
now with the anthology, are you working with people that you work with before to tell all these stories, or are they all short stories done by you?
Uh, so the writing is it's done by me, but then the art is, you will see a lot of recurring names that
Yeah,
have worked in the comics that I launched so far, or
yeah,
the covers.
yeah,
So yeah, I guess it's the whole, when you find people you get along with and work really well, you
yeah,
tend to, and are really talented, you tend to want to work with them again. And it's kind of backwards. I
yeah,
work with them on that project first, uh, and then I did the other projects that I already released.
yeah.
But yeah, they are amazing, and yeah, I definitely, the ones that I haven't worked with again, I definitely want to find a chance to do it again anyway. So
Absolutely, yeah. Well, you're building a great team around yourself. Several different titles that we could look forward to in the near future. Bruno, I will make sure I blast this Kickstarter link everywhere.
thank you.
Always happy to have you on the podcast, my friend. So yeah, thank you so much, Bruno. Everybody, make sure that you head over to Kickstarter. Make sure you hit that notify button. Portrait of a Soul will go live on the 29th. Make sure that you hit that notify button. That way you know when it goes live, so you can get over there and pick up this next amazing copy of Mr. Bruno's work with Sam on art. It looks awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, always enjoy having you, Bruno. You're welcome anytime, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, talk soon.
Bye.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.